In this video, we'll try to understand what are the important components of a Java program. So we write Java programs, right? So programming is nothing but a set of instructions to solve a particular problem. So you'll write a lot of code. But what are the main important components of a Java program? So there are five main important components of a Java program. The first one is a package. So don't worry to understand what is a package at this moment. So you'll understand what is package once you deep dive into Java program. Package is nothing but just like a package. You group something into a single package, right? So now in programming, we can create our own packages. So to give a proper name of a package, you need to follow certain rules and regulations. The second important thing is a class. I think we created hello world class or a main class, right? So like that, we'll create a lot of classes as part of our project development. So when you create a class, you have to follow certain naming standards for creating proper classes. The third one is interface. Don't worry what is an interface at this moment. You'll create interfaces also as part of your project. So interfaces also have a proper naming convention. The fourth one is a variable. So we'll understand variables in our further videos. And in order to define a variable, you have to follow certain naming standards. Then you have a method. So you'll understand what is a method in our further videos. But to define method, we have certain kind of rules and regulations. So when you create these user-defined package, class, interface, variable, and method, there are certain kinds of rules and regulations you have to follow for naming them properly.
Hey, thanks for watching our content so far. If you're new to Training Monk, we're the fastest growing technology training company and create content to help freshers like you to master the disruptive technologies like full stack development, AML, cloud, DevOps, etc. If you like the content so far, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon not to miss any new content from us. Like and share this video with all your friends. Let's build your career and the community together.
In our previous video, we understood that identifier is used to define or use it for naming purpose. So you can give anything like ABC, XYZ. ABC is a valid identifier. So can I use this ABC for defining a package? Yes. Can I use this ABC for defining a class? Yes. Can I use this ABC for defining an interface, variable, method? The answer is yes. But how do you follow a particular standard? If someone defines ABC for a package and someone else uses the same ABC for defining class, this is not a global standard to follow. So that's why Java has created is a predefined set of global standards that every Java developer has to follow when you're creating identifiers for naming purposes. The first and foremost, when you're using package name contains all lowercase letters. You should not use any uppercase letters, numeric, special characters, etc. Only lowercase letters. And a very important point, they also give a proper rule or a regulation to follow for creating a package. Example, the package name follows a standard syntax. Example, it starts from com or org as a first word, as a company or an organization. Then if you can understand project is a very huge functionality. What we usually do, we divide project into modules into sub-modules, just like breaking a big task into small tasks. Now, when you're dividing your main project into modules, sub-modules, you have to follow separate coding standard for defining a package. So the general rule of defining a package is it should start with com or org, and every word must be separated by dot. Example, com dot. Then it comes with the company name or organization name or the client name to whom you are building the project. Then dot, then the project name, dot, module, dot, submodule, and goes on. So this is the standard way of creating a package name, and you will follow this standard very strictly in real-time project development. So some of the examples, like you are building a project for training month. So it could be something like this, com.training month. Dot, suppose you are creating an employee payroll. So employee payroll management system, right? So if you use a shortcut EMPS, dot, you are using a module for employee. So the package name is going to be com.trainingmonth.emps.employee. Suppose for the same project you are using for an admin, com.trainingmark.emps.admin. So like that you follow a particular standard for defining the package name. So as a beginner, it is very important to follow these standards. I've seen many programmers or many beginners who does not follow these coding standards at all. That is what differentiates between a good programmer and just a programmer. And second, when you're creating a class, the class name, each word must start with an uppercase, which you call it as a Pascal case. What do you mean by a Pascal case? Every word must start with an uppercase. Example, suppose you have hello world. Hello, it starts with HS capital, WS capital. Suppose you're creating employee department. So employee E capital, D capital. Employee salary, E capital, S capital. And you should not use any spaces here because it's not a valid identifier. You can use underscore but not recommended when you're using class names. You just write them because it should not use more than 2 or 3 words for defining your class name. So if you can use it like a sentence, it does not make a sense that you're defining a class name. And third one is interface. So you'll understand what is the difference of a class and interface, but most of the predefined interfaces in Java are adjectives. For classes, we'll use nouns. Example, employee, student, salary, payroll. These are all nouns. But for interfaces, we use adjectives. So what do you mean by adjective? Adjective specifies the behavior of that particular object. So example, some of the predefined interfaces is runnable, clonable, comparable. So they will use this ability, the adjectives. But when you're creating user-defined interfaces, we might not give adjective all the time. Example, suppose you're creating a department interface. You cannot say department table, right? So, but instead of that, what we can do, you can use certain kind of other naming conventions. Example, you can use I department or I employee department. I here stands for an interface. Or you want to specifically write an interface, you'll say employee interface, department interface. So we can use that word as a standard for creating interfaces. Next is variable. When you're defining a variable name, you have to use camelCase. When I say camelCase, the first word is lowercase and second word onwards it will start uppercase. So that is what you call it as a camelCase. Example, suppose you have employee salary. So employee is lowercase, S is uppercase. If I say employee department details, employee is lowercase, department D with uppercase, details D with uppercase. So if you want to separate 2 or 3 words, you can use underscores, but it's not recommended. You can directly use it as 2 or 3 words, which will be okay for having a better readability. Then a method. So method and variable both uses camelCase, but method syntax is different. Method comes with a parenthesis at the end. Example, suppose you have employee details. Here also we use camelCase, employee details, but it comes with a parenthesis at the end. So that is what is the difference between a method and a variable. But both uses camelCase for proper naming conventions. So these are the proper naming conventions that every programmer has to follow in Java. You can write some of the proper naming conventions for packages, classes, interfaces, variables and methods on your own to understand these things better.